Catholic stand-up comedian on Sunday getting overly involved. It's mass hysteria. Is that an intro? Does that work? Did it track?
Amen.
Welcome to HowDoWeHuman. It's a podcast where we overanalyze our intros. I'm one of your hosts, Evan Cox.
I'm one of your hosts, Chris Binning.
Today we are going to be talking about mass hysteria, not goof 'em ups in Catholic churches. Actual mass hysteria. If you haven't, hey, go check us out on YouTube. We're on there at HowDoWeHuman. You can watch the video of this. Subscribe. These are all great things to do. Before we get tarrying, before we tarry forth,
Okay.
Chris.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. This happened to me a couple weeks ago. But I stayed for overtime at work, and so at like 1 a.m, I go to get gas at the gas station.
Always a good time.
Oh yeah. And this was just like I've never had this happen at the gas station, but I pull in and there's like 3 other cars there at the pumps,
Yeah.
which is kind of unusual for 1 a.m, but also unusual. Not a single car is hooked up to a pump, and everybody is just sitting in their cars. But they're not in the like gas station parking spaces. They're up to the pumps.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, maybe the pump isn't working. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm able to get my gas just fine. And as I'm getting the gas, a cop car pulls into the gas station, and then they just sit there. And they don't get out of their car. So what is going on? Like, it feels like one of those like Twilight Zone things where like, oh, he's not supposed to be here at our secret cult meeting at the Arco. Like, I don't know what was happening. Eventually someone was speeding down the street at like 90 miles an hour, so the cop car pulled out and went after him. But it was just a bizarre, like, I finished pumping the gas and left before any of those other 3 cars did anything. So I don't know what that was about, but that was just kind of a spooky, eerie early morning / late night gas station trip.
Bizarre. It feels like those other 2 cars called the cops on you.
Maybe.
He's stealing gas.
This guy's getting freaking gas at the gas station.
1 a.m. Where's he going?
Do something about it. Yeah.
Gas stations are for sitting at this hour.
Yeah. Evan, as someone else who's sitting, I need to know how you doing.
I'm doing good.
Doing good.
I was gonna tell a different story.
Back from Seattle, you are.
Yes. I only spent
Washington, I suppose.
One afternoon in Seattle. Got sushi for Chris's birthday. Not you. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Would have been too early.
And that was very fun. But the rest of the time, stayed with my family because of all the chaos. I will update. I can't believe, listening back to that episode where I told the story about all my bad luck and the river, I forgot, because I had broken all of those things, that as soon as we got in the river, I'm on an inner tube. First off, we had bought inner tubes. Those got stolen. From my sister's place. So we bought more. And then when within 10 minutes of us leaving, we started scraping across the rocks. I got a hole in mine. And so on top of having to walk so much of it, every time I would have to get up and we would walk, I would have to blow it back up with my mouth and just keep it going. It was awful. Anyways, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about gas because you talked about gas. And I'm like, hey, I've got a
Whoa.
gas story
What
too.
couple of gas
Uh,
guys?
are we now committing to we're above doing an episode about gas stations? No.
No, we're
No.
not.
We could still make that happen. But I have a very specific gas story from this trip. Some listeners may know from the Oregon area or the New Jersey area, you might have a history of not pumping your own
Oh,
gas.
sure. I
I do
didn't know
this.
this was a thing until like a week ago when one of those states got rid of that law or was proposing to
Okay.
get rid of it.
You were more aware than I was. So I've done this drive from California to Washington several times, twice a year. I don't know how long I've lived here, 8 years, I think. That would be 16 times.
Okay.
Minus the COVID year, I didn't do it then. So the math's getting complicated. There's extra factors here. We're not going to do the math. Everyone with me? We're not going to do the math.
Everybody, we need verbal confirmation from every listener that we're not going to do the math.
It's not that I can't find the answer. It's that we're all
It's
not
that
going to do the math.
collectively we don't want to know.
Swear to God, if I see a YouTube comment with the answer, you're out. You can subscribe to us. I'm kicking you out. You're not a listener anymore. Anyways, that's not true. I would love to see a bunch of comments with the answer. It's 14.
I was going to say, to be clear, the math is 16 minus 2.
Anyways, I used to hate it when I would drive through. I used to hate the fact that I couldn't just pump my own gas because I'm like, I don't
That's
know.
dumb.
It's I'm not in a hurry, but I am trying to make good time. And sometimes you'd sit there and it just like takes a while because there'd be one attendant. They're helping out 4 other cars and eventually they'll get to you. Then they'll finish, like your tank will be full, but they're still helping other people. You have to sit and wait for them to come back to you and go give you your debit card back. I'm like, grr. But I grew to like it. I grew to go like, okay, you know what? I get it. I can still get out of the car. I can get out, stretch my legs, walk the dog, make them pee. Make them pee. Go pee.
Make them pee.
It's a skill of mine. So I grew to like it.
The dog pisperer.
That's good. That's quality. I'm going to use that today. So Jocelyn and I made it to Oregon. And it was that time again. Time to fill up on gas. When we pull in, I'm just sitting there. I'm sitting there. We're being complainy people, being like, what the fuck is going on? And then we like look around. I don't know how long I was waiting there, but look around. Everyone's pumping their own gas. We looked it up. That day was day 1 of that law changing. Like, what? What are the fucking chances of that? My feedback, you could use a bit more signage for travelers, out of state people. I'm not, apparently Chris is following your road laws. But
I like to keep up to date on all 50 states the road laws, gas pumping rules. Just in case, you never know when you're going to need to pump gas in another state.
You never know. It was ridiculous, and the law seems to be like every station. I think they still must have like 2 at least, where there is one attendant, and they'll help those if you're like
For all
disabled,
the
etc.
okay. I
Or
was gonna say for all the elderly boomers who are like, I used to always come here and somebody would pump my gas, and now I gotta do it.
and I undercut you with the word disabled.
Yep,
okay,
got
okay,
me.
okay,
Oh, okay, it's fine.
okay, fine.
It's no problem here.
There was I forget if it was because my sister lives in Oregon and she hadn't even heard of it. She was like, "It did," but I think it was Justin looked up the story and was reading interviews with people, and a lot of people that age and up, your greatest generations, your boomers,
Oh yeah. The
that
generation where if you work in customer service, you're like, here they come. The greatest generation. I
but they
can't wait for this interaction.
the people who had lived in Oregon their whole lives are like,
Yeah.
I've never pumped my own gas. What do I do? It's so fucking wild to think
Pull
about.
yourself up by your bootstraps, baby.
Wacky, wild and wacky shit. Anyway, long story short, I was sitting there for way too fucking long waiting. Hello, ding, ding, ding. A little service. I'm driving through Oregon on my way
gotta
to
say,
a better
Evan,
state.
That does not surprise me at all that you were surrounded by people pumping their own gas and thought, man, what's taking these attendants so long?
When you've done that 14 times,
Yeah.
and it's gone one way,
Yeah, it is true.
it does take you a second to look around and realize everyone's pumping their own gas.
Can you drive all the way through the state of Oregon on one tank of gas? Or no matter, like, if you filled up right before you crossed the border from California to Oregon, would one tank of gas last you the whole state? Or do you, no matter what, have to fill up in Oregon?
Here's the thing, partner. I think technically, yes, you
Okay.
could make it, but you're like right before you get into Oregon, you have to go over the pass, and there's no gas stations there. So I always fill up on the other side of that. And there, I do end up having to fill up like northern central Oregon. So
Okay.
I would guess you could get close, probably uncomfortably close, that point where you're
Yeah.
like, I really should have just filled up on gas. I mean, they'll pump
Yeah.
it for me, right?
Right.
Anyway, we got to get to this. We're just talking personal hysterias at this point. And believe
Yeah.
me, we are hysterical.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that stays in the video and goes out of the audio podcast. I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe it stays in both. That's a little tease. Go see the video. What were we doing? Was it fun?
What were we doing? Was it fun?
Kind of.
Debatable.
Debatable. Debate about it in the comment section at HowDoWeHuman. Chris,
Yeah.
do you often find yourself becoming hysterical alongside millions and millions of people?
I wouldn't say it happens very often, but it does occasionally seep through.
Sometimes you're going to get caught up.
Yeah. And it's certainly better now that I am off social media so much more.
That helps.
I think that Twitter or X.com is
Still
like the
Twitter.com.
greatest. I have no idea.
I think it is.
They're the greatest like cesspools of mass hysteria. It's so easy to get promoted an insane tweet.
Yes.
And it's not like you're the only one getting promoted that insane tweet. But for one insane tweet to get promoted to a bunch of people and then rile a bunch of people up, not to mention the rampant misinformation that gets spread every single day now,
Yeah.
causing mass hysteria for things that don't even exist, aren't even true. But we just have to be in a constant state of panic. I would say that I'm
Yeah.
pretty good at letting most of that just go. um, but every now and then something comes through and I get swept up in the madness.
I get
Uh,
it.
what about you?
Yeah. About the
Okay.
same, I'd say. I feel like even honestly, I feel like even at my most hysterical, and I'm hysterical. It's just the same dance. But I feel like honestly, in my life, I've kind of realized, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing when, like, something like we were talking about last week with the river, like, oh fuck, I felt like I was about to die. I don't freak out. I don't panic. I'm a. It's maybe me at my calmest, if that
Okay,
makes sense, which
interesting.
is weird. I mean, it can be good in a situation like that where it's like, all right, I'm not panicking.
You
But other
down that
times,
river, you were going with the flow.
I was going with the flow. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was a hard flow. It knocked me into like 3 or 4 logs. It hurt. Um, but there are definitely, yeah, things that have come up that I was like, I'd say the difference, yeah, I don't get swept up in it, but there are bits of mass hysteria that I go like, oh, I'd better join the ranks here. I'd better
Yeah.
jump on in. Uh, I do want to talk, not to immediately just get off the broad strokes. I want to get into the fine points.
Yes.
I want to hit on some of these. We currently, we both live in California. We both
Yes.
live in Los Angeles County. You're still in Los Angeles County, aren't you? Or are you your own
Yeah,
county?
it's still LA County, I
Oh,
believe.
thank God.
LA County
Whoo!
is
It's big,
pretty pretty big.
pretty big.
pretty big.
And yet, Long Beach, not a part of Los Angeles County. I found out when I lived there.
Is it part of Orange County? What county would it
It's
be?
its own county, Long Beach,
What?
isn't it? Did I make that
I
up?
I mean, who knows?
Let's verify this. I'm probably wrong. Nope, it's a part of Los Angeles County.
Okay, cool.
Glad I brought it up.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with this otherwise.
Write it down for what we've learned.
Hmm. We never talk about what we've learned anymore. Did we
I
just stop
know.
learning? We'll have
I
to
think
ask.
we just are too smart.
Yeah. 14.
14.
That's
We did the math.
that's our little wink to ourselves when we need to remind ourselves just how smart we are. Just say
Yeah.
14.
14.
My specific, as we live along this fault line that
Oh, yes.
constantly threatens to eject us from the country.
Yes.
There was, in particular, even though that's always been like, that information's been out there, there's been movies made about it.
Of
Uh,
course.
uh, there was a particular, I forget if it was like a New York Times thing, something like a different state being like, this state's fucked. But it was a
That
popular.
sounds like the New York Times to
It
me.
does sound like the New York Times. I think it was them.
Pay us $20 if you want to know how to survive.
But it was genuinely just like a death knell of just like, within the next 5 years,
Yeah.
Washington through California is going to completely break off from the country via a massive earthquake that's going to kill millions of people. It's like, all right, well, call me hysterical. Just do it,
Okay.
please.
Hysterical.
Because I'm here. I think everybody around it felt like, even though that was known information, an article, that's always, it's like someone just saying it, someone with any sort of like platform
Yeah.
saying y'all should be scared. It's like, oh fuck, we
Oh,
should.
fuck, I'm scared.
We didn't know. And so there's definitely a little while of, again, I didn't like panic, but I did, along with a lot of people, do some panic shopping. Now, I do
Yeah.
panic shopping more chill than other people do. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to panic shopping. A
Absolutely.
little something happened in the world recently that led to some panic shopping,
Yep.
and that was not fun. Um, I want to talk about earthquake.
I want to talk about earth cakes.
I just want to talk mud pies.
The rest.
The rest. Let's come up with more. What else?
I
Sod.
don't know, would you consider, like,
Sod
this isn't
cake.
really a cake, but, like, um, that dessert that, like, worms in dirt, where it's,
Yes.
like, Oreo bits and gummy
Mm-hmm.
worms?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I'm in.
That was good shit when I was a child.
Oh yeah, isn't it also? It's like an ice cream cake, isn't it?
I
Just like
think yeah,
full of.
maybe.
I think just to hold the Oreo bits together. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
crazy.
I remember ordering it at the restaurant Mimi's Cafe, and it was I feel like it was like a little, like, dish and maybe some ice cream in there and some, like, I don't know, whipped cream or something, gummy worms, and, crushed up Oreos. It's
Yeah.
good shit.
Is there a lot of
Some, like,
confusion?
fudge in there maybe to be like, "Oh, man, this dirt is so muddy."
Was there a lot of confusion because you'd go in there and say, "Sir, as the customer, Mimi is always right," and he'd be like, "I know, Mimi's my boss." And you go,
Yeah.
"No, no, no, Mimi,
No, no, me.
no, no, Mimi, yes,
No, no,
yes,
me.
Mimi, the boss." In the back with all the worm pies. She's in the back. I'm making the worm. I hit my microphone. I'll stop. That's a sign to stop.
But yes, of course that happened every single time.
Earthquake kits is what I want to talk about. It's very widespread. When you live in California, you're told everybody should have an earthquake kit. Earthquake kit. I'm having a hard time saying that today. Earthquake.
Yeah.
Earthquake. Earthquake kit. You try it.
Earthquake kit.
What a fucking asshole. Earthquake kit.
Earthquake kit.
Earthquake kit.
I'm a British person doing a Californian accent.
Every now, yeah.
I'm gonna go surfing, dude, and make sure our earthquake kit is fully stocked.
Yeah, just every now and then there's an episode where it's like we barely end up talking about what we intended to talk about because I'm just crying the whole time. I'm getting a bad feeling about this episode.
We have a fun energy today.
Woo! Earthquake. Earthquake kits. Woo! Woo, baby. So I have problems with her.
Jesus.
I have problems. I'm so sweaty. I have problems beyond saying it. I have problems with earthquake kits. I keep wanting to go earthquake.
Is it because you want to say Eartha kit? Is that the problem?
I can't get her off the brain. I jumped on and I'm like, I do need an earthquake kit. EKs. I'm gonna call them
you need an EK.
Fuck it.
EQK.
I'm gonna keep trying to say it. It's been fun. But I was like, I'll get because you can look up a list. I was like, that's a big list. I don't have the space for all this shit.
No.
I need to store dumb stuff
Mm-hmm.
in my apartment. But I got one of those. I don't know, not a pallet, but the case, a case of water bottles.
Yeah.
You know, in it wrapped in plastic. I got that. Put that in my closet and bought just like granola bars, maybe some canned foods.
Yeah.
And you hear, like, oh, that's going to last forever here in Co-op. And it's like, no, it doesn't. I ran into, like, no, the canned stuff does. everything else expires and time passes, and you have that moment of like, shit, granola bar sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
My big thing I've run into is with the water bottles, which are wrapped in plastic.
Wow.
Over time, that little bit of air gets out of it, they start crinkling up. And then I'm like, well, now what's happened to this? And you hear about plastics getting in the water. Now the water's not safe to drink. Uh, what am I supposed to do? This feels like a waste of water. It's still in there. I've probably used like 25% of them for other things,
Yeah.
watering plants and stuff. Guess what? That plant died. And I'm like, thank God it wasn't me in an earthquake trying to get to my kit.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Buy a thing of water, and then toss it out when it starts crinkling. Get a new case.
Yeah.
These are the broad thoughts, and then specifically, I want to ask you. You can ignore as much as you want, or acknowledge as
Mm.
much of that as you want. I want to ask you: do you have an earthquake kit?
I do have some water bottles, and that's basically the extent of it right
Nice.
now.
Same.
I don't really have any food like canned or granola bars or anything like
Same.
that. And I probably should.
Right?
But I just like it's like you said, like everybody in not everybody in LA County, but a majority of people in LA County have to live their lives in tiny little
Yeah.
abodes, and it's like
Little
I don't have
boxes.
space for a bunch of stuff that I'm gonna have to throw out and replenish later.
Yeah.
I don't like wasting food.
No. I like
But
eating it.
I exactly. But I don't like uh the dread of the um looming earthquakes.
Yeah. Doesn't feel good to think
Um
about. So I don't.
no. And it is part of a much larger picture of why I'd be interested in leaving California. But but it's also like part of the problem is I don't remember when that article came out, but it
Yeah.
feels like it
Feel
was more
like,
than 5 years ago,
yeah, it's
which
between
is
5 and 10. Maybe
yeah.
7.
But they're always like, we're not gonna do the math, but
Don't anybody do them.
we we've I believe, and maybe this is just because a major mass panic thing happened 3 years ago
Yes.
that kind of skewed my entire perception of time
100%.
from the last like 10 years. Um, but just I don't we've I believe have passed whatever the New York Times death sentence or life expectancy was,
Yeah.
which also makes it difficult because it's like, well, that probably means when it does happen, it's going to be even worse. But
Right.
also, like, fuck you, New York Times. We're better than you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ride off into the sunset on the state of California.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
There was something part of why I wanted to talk about this was we mentioned briefly in the last episode
Mm-hmm.
the hurricane
Da, da,
in
da.
the West Coast. Deeply unusual phenomenon.
Yes.
And
Deeply
it was
unusual phenomenons.
it was it was like strange because there was such a period of it coming that's like whatever, it'll probably be nothing, it'll probably be nothing, it'll probably be nothing.
Yeah.
Then the day before it's supposed to hit, suddenly it's like we might all die. Every single thing might fail us, and like social media and news articles and the media are like, this could be devastating to California, this
Yeah.
could be devastating all the way up the West Coast. brutal flooding, brutal winds. And there definitely were some areas that got flooded,
Yeah.
and some areas with heavy wind, of course. But um I, got a thing from my work that was like, here are all the things to do to prepare yourself. Check the road conditions, make sure your car is full of gas, because sometimes in events like this, gas can be out for days and days. Make sure
Yeah.
you're stocked up on water, make sure you're stocked up on food. So I was like, well, I do need like a handful of things from the grocery store. So maybe I'll go, maybe I'll just grab a couple of cans of food. Um, and I go to the grocery store. It's like, um, is it Saturday night? I think I went.
Yeah, it
Um,
was.
and thank you. And it's like the busiest I've ever seen
Ugh,
this grocery store.
I
The
hate it.
shelves are cleared out in the bread
Ugh.
aisle. Like, it's people are panic buying for this hurricane. Um, and then it hits, and at least where I am, we got a lot of rain, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like nearly as bad as the weather we had in November, December. Like,
Yeah.
it
That
was
was the weirdest part about
fine.
it.
Like,
Like, and I was experiencing it from the outside in Washington State, just reading the news, which I was seeing the same shit. Like, oh fuck, this is gonna be bad. But then
yeah.
it started getting like classified lower and lower as it got closer. But then there was the word on the outside was y'all had a hurricane. So there was a little
Yes.
earthquake in the middle of it.
There was an earthquake in the middle of it on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I people have had conflicting experiences with this, but I did receive a like notification on my phone that was like, earthquake coming, duck and cover, like. And then I basically had enough time to read it, and then I felt the shaking. I know some people got
Damn.
that notification after they felt the
Oh,
shaking, but I got it like before.
wow.
Which was like kind of impressive. I
Probably
didn't
for you.
duck and cover. I just kind of sat on the sofa and just kind of, moved around a little bit. But
You goosed and simmered.
that's right. And it was one of the larger earthquakes that has happened in the
Interesting.
last
Shit.
9 years. I think it was like a 5 point something,
That's not
5.2
nothing.
maybe, out in Ontario. But I think there's been one bigger one than that I've felt since living here. But uh, it's also like when you experience things like that, and you're like, "Oh, that's fine."
Yeah.
Then I feel like the next time you're gonna be like, "Well, it was fine
It was
last time,
fine.
so now I don't need to panic." When that's the actual time you should be panicking.
That's yeah, because yeah, I've mentioned it before. When I was growing up, I don't know. I probably was somewhere between 10 and 13. There was I think a 6.9 earthquake in Washington. That was like, oh shit,
Yeah,
this is serious. And that ended up being fine. Every earthquake I've ever been in has been fine. So I don't. I'm woefully unprepared. I I've mentioned before. And maybe I should stop mentioning it. I sleep in the buff, and am
yes.
told, hey, that's a bad idea. What if there's an earthquake? You got to run out there. I'm like, well, everyone's getting a show. I did though.
Everyone's gonna be glad they're alive.
Here's where my priorities were, though, is yesterday for whatever reason. I know why I was thinking about this because we were going to do this episode today. For whatever reason, I was thinking about this. But
For
I was
whatever
like,
reason, I was thinking about mass hysteria.
what if
And
an earthquake hits? And I was like, well, like I always actually think, I got my bathrobe right there. I'll grab my bathrobe, I'll run outside. Uh, and the first thing that sounded awful about that is like, it's been really fucking hot, and that's a heavy bathrobe. Now I'd just be out there in the heat in a bathrobe. That would suck. So that's dumb. That's what I That's what I thought. So, anyways, long story short, going back to it, like every earthquake's been fine. Every storm I've lived through floods, but none of them have been actually devastating. I've been lucky. It can happen. We see it all over the world. So yeah, there is that level of like, I should be more on top of it than I am. But there's also just the reckless part of me that's like, I mean, this happens, I don't know, once every 2-3 years or so. Not the hurricanes, but like an earthquake or something comes along that's going to threaten my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think we all should be prepared. And I am the reckless one. But for whatever reason, because it happens infrequently, I'm like, I don't need to worry about it. It's not going to happen to
Yeah.
me.
The most devastating thing about
Knock
the
on wood.
earthquake was when I went to like verify, how big of an earthquake was it? Where
Yeah.
was the epicenter? Of course, when you Google anything,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
something in the news, you're gonna get a couple things promoted to you from X.com,
Yeah.
Twitter, baby. And it's the same garbage tweets that are like, a hurricane and an earthquake? LA's going crazy right now. LA's really showing off. It's like, why?
It's like,
Why were we supposed to care about saving this website? It was trash.
yeah, it's that's all I was seeing too. And I'm like, we got to be, worried about earthquakes and hurricanes, but we should be equally as worried about the state of Twitter
Yeah.
and what people think is worth tweeting.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not. It's dead. It's just dead. It's done. It's
It's
done.
done.
So
It's
it's a bye
over.
bye.
Quit so that Elon can turn it into a right wing extremist
Yeah,
hub.
and it can be just as popular as Truth Social. Yeah, maybe it's time to earthquake quit.
Yep.
Know what I mean?
Of course, I guess there's no um point in doing this episode and not talking about the novel coronavirus, COVID-19, mass
What?
hysteria, panic buying, everybody freaking out unless you live in certain states. And then you were angry about something else,
Yeah.
about your rights being infringed upon.
Oh, yeah. How
Um,
dare you try to help? Don't tell me what to do. I
yeah.
don't want to protect myself. That's bad. Uh, no, that I mean, yeah, we don't have to get too into the heavies of it, but like that was global trauma we all experienced, and
Yep.
I was like, there was a long. I'm now at the point where I am not wearing a mask pretty much ever. And that kind of blows my mind. I when I was in it, I was like, I don't think I'm ever gonna not wear a mask in public. I probably said that on
Yeah.
this podcast.
You did.
Hey, how dare you remember what I said? this, this is all nonsense I'm spewing. But yeah, it's weird to. Every now and then I'm in the grocery store and I'll see other people wearing masks, and it makes me feel weird. Like, oh, did I change my like, should I still be that way? I don't know. I mean, but it was it was a weird time, and that was the most extreme panic buying grocery shopping I've ever seen. The
Yeah.
immediate outage of toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
uh,
And then the people that like there. I remember the news story of the one guy who like bulk bought hand sanitizer
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
was like, "But nobody wants to buy it from me with my huge insane markups." It's like, "Yeah, you're a fucking moron."
You're an asshole.
Exactly.
Uh,
I don't know if he got arrested or if he got fined, but there was some sort of delightful justice for his douchebaggery. But
I
yeah,
got hoaxed I almost forgot about this early in the I guess shortages, the COVID related shortages, because it was mostly toilet paper first, but that hand sanitizer, Clorox wipes, that sort of shit. Because this was at the time, we're being told we don't know what it is. It might be spread by touch. So clean all your groceries,
right.
clean all your surfaces. Everyone wants Clorox wipes. And I found some online and bought them, and I got tricked. They were just taking my money. They wanted
Mm-hmm.
$40, but it was like at least for a big pack of Clorox wipes. I'm like, fuck it, I'm in. And it was a hoax, and that website disappeared. But I got
Ooh.
my money back
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
because it was, I believe, a PayPal transaction. And so I just contacted PayPal. They're like, yeah, we'll cancel that. I was like,
Yeah.
sweet. But it's like, it happened to me. Me of all
Yeah.
people.
I remember I distinctly remember when COVID was first starting to spread in the US. This is before any of the lockdowns or anything. But they were talking about it. It was like lockdowns were they were gonna be coming, but
Oh, yeah.
they hadn't really done anything official. Um, but I remember not being super panicked about it. Um, I remember being like, "Oh, I should go to Disneyland because a bunch of people are canceling their like tickets and
Not a
trips,
bad
so I should
idea.
go and then hop on all the rides super quick."
Yay.
Um, and they were talking about the lockdowns, and I was like, "Okay, well if they lock everybody down and if they lock everyone down and the government gives COVID relief to kind of cover everybody being locked down for those 2 weeks or for 2 weeks." I was
Yeah.
like, it'll probably be pretty much over, but in like the 2 to 3 week thing, and we'll all go back to normal.
Yeah.
And then obviously that didn't happen for a variety of different factors. Like, oh, it's a lockdown, but not everybody is locked down. Some of
Yeah.
you need to still go to work, and some of you just don't care that you're supposed to be locked down. You're gonna go wherever you want anyway.
Hmm.
Um, and so that helped it get pushed for another several years. And other various incompetencies.
Hmm.
But I just have that distinct memory of not being panicked at all
Yeah.
up until I remember being in the break room at work and they were showing footage from New York where they were like digging mass graves.
Yeah.
And then I
Not
was
to
like,
laugh at that,
oh,
but I know exactly what you're talking about.
now I see that it's panic time,
Yeah.
baby.
I've seen this footage and 28 days later, etc.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
exactly.
yikers. Yeah, bad time. Bad time. Uh, and yet we never took a single week off this podcast. Never forget that.
Yeah.
We
We've never
immediately
taken a week off.
hopped on Zoom. We're like, we got this. Let's ride out the storm. And then we never saw each other again.
That's not true. We've recorded one episode in person since
It
COVID,
is
I believe.
true. It is the truth.
I
Um,
guess two if you want to count the Oscars live
oh,
stream.
yeah. Oh, I do. The slap heard around the world.
Yes.
Uh,
What a time for us all to have gotten back together.
My
And by us all, I mean you and me
you and
and
me
no one else.
and Jordan and Dustin, 2, maybe 3 listeners.
Yeah, Wes
Hannah
was
might have
in
been there.
the chat for that as
Yeah, Wes
well.
was in there too. I've been not to jump off old COVID, the old COVID Express, although
Yeah.
related to some of that those vibes around that time. Well, I guess it would have been earlier than that. Anyways, I do specifically need to ask when you were talking about the hurricane
Yes.
that hit Los Angeles County. Why won't you say
Rock
her
me like a
name?
hurricane?
Why
What?
won't you say her name?
Yeah, this goes into the well, for two reasons. Number one, it's already largely left my memory. Because we're supposed to be like worried about the hurricane in Florida, like Hurricane Adalia or something like that.
Adina
Um,
Al Dazim.
yeah, the wickedly talented Hurricane Dazim. But the other reason is going back to the cesspool that is X.com. So many people thrilled with themselves to be like, I know a person named Hillary, and the hurricane is named Hillary. This is funny.
Show us her emails.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to join the crowds at
Of course.
Huntington Beach and be like, lock her up as I shout at the hurricane.
Did that actually
But
happen?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm sure it did
That's where we're
not,
at. I
but
believed it.
Huntington Beach has a
Huntington
lot
Beach.
of that type of people. But I in our work WhatsApp group,
What's up with that?
somebody who leans that way politically shared a gif of the hurricane's trajectory, and of course it's Hillary Clinton's face on it. It's like, isn't this funny?
Ah,
No, you're just
no.
in your 50s, so you think this is comedy.
You used to be with it, and then they changed what it was.
Yeah, devastating.
Uh, I was gonna say, weird bit of timing. This blew my mind, and I know
Okay.
we're getting to quiz time, but
Yes, I
I had to
also have
bring
one more
this up
topic,
because
but
this is a huge, huge fucking thing. My
yeah.
girlfriend and I, just looking for some comfort television after a long, arduous trip.
Yes.
We've been rewatching Community. Always a pleasure.
Yes.
There was a joke in an episode we watched yesterday that reminded me of a mass hysteria I I've forgotten about, and I'd argue I think everyone forgot about.
Okay.
Do
What
we
season of Community are you in?
season
Season
2?
1? Season 2. Okay.
Yeah. Do we remember as a people that 2012 was supposed to be the end of days?
Oh, of course.
Completely forgot about that. That was the Mayan calendars. We're all gonna die. Like how? We're just falling apart.
Yeah. I remember not, being particularly panicked about it,
Yeah.
but I do remember that kind of being in the zeitgeist. I graduated high school in 2011,
Okay.
and so the class of 2012, I had friends who were a year younger than me, and their whole like class shirt theme or whatever was the apocalypse.
Gotcha.
So I remember it. I I wasn't super like present to be aware of the mass hysteria around like Y2K.
That was
But
another
that's
big one.
another deal. I kind of remember like the bird flu and the
Oh
swine
yeah,
flu being mass panics.
absolutely.
And I think that being young enough during those other panics, especially like swine flu,
Hmm.
and I know that people died from those as well, but largely the panic felt like bigger than the problem.
Yeah.
So that it like now when new things come along, like the start of COVID, it was like, well, okay, but like I
We're
remember this
almost,
with the swine
yeah, we're
flu
almost
and
trained
nothing
to
happened.
underestimate
Yeah,
these things. Yeah, when you were saying that, now I'm running through the greatest hits of mass hysteria past. I mean, Y2K was a big one. I do remember because we had a computer being like, again, even at that age, 11, 10, 11. I'm not panicked, but I'm realistic. Well, I'm like, I don't know much about computers, but I know the whole
yeah,
idea is the banks and our computers. Basically, our computers aren't built for the year
right.
2000 to happen. And our money's going away. Our computers are all going to break. So I was just
Yeah,
like,
it's gonna like launch all the missiles or something
I
like that.
act.
Like,
I guess that might have been part of it too. Yeah, with just like all the computers were running everything at that point. But I
yeah,
do actively remember me being the one in the family. I didn't tell everyone about it, but at the end of the night, I shut down our computer. I unplugged all of our electronics. I said there will not be a power surge on my watch, and there wasn't.
and for all we know, that's what helped avoid Y2K.
Yeah. What I was going to say, you reminded me of, though, that I hadn't thought about in forever, which was huge, which was probably, I want to say, around that time. So you might have been too young to care. Anthrax.
Yeah, I know that anthrax was a big deal, but I don't remember. I
And
don't
the
remember it.
anthrax scare is the first one I remember, like, actually freaking me out because it was like,
Yeah.
people are just sending it in mail. Any mail, be careful about any mail you open up. Oh, mail you don't recognize, you might open it up and get a face full of powder and die. That was
Yeah,
freaky.
I think maybe the first one for me was like West Nile virus coming to the US. I
Yeah,
think maybe that was like the first
I
one that I
remember that.
remember.
Yeah.
This is a different type of mass hysteria in a way. Um, but the just kind of like feeling in the country after September 11th is probably, I don't know if that
Yeah, yeah.
predates West Nile coming to the US. It probably does, but I feel like that maybe is part of it
Well,
too.
I looked up the anthrax scare, and that was right after 9/11. So it was
Okay.
related to that. So hey, that was a time.
It's a busy
That was
time.
yeah, a lot of freaky shit going on in the world. Yeah, I would say. I mean, yeah, I think our whole generation. That was the beginning of like, are things bad?
Yeah. And then ever since then, there's also the kind of like, this isn't necessarily at a mass hysteria level, but it is sort of like a looming, uh, we're on the precipice of it
Hmm.
at all times, it feels like, but of nuclear war
Oh yeah,
with some of the angriest countries on earth trying to create huge killing weapons for reasons that don't make a lot of sense to me, other than they just want to flex their little dick energy. I don't know.
no, that was the biggest, like, I think for most of us, not most, I can't say most of us, but I think for a lot of people, the whole, I'd say this general 3-year period of COVID has been like, we numbed ourselves a little bit with Tiger King and
Sure.
and bread. I made a
Yeah.
lot of zucchini bread. And so in the middle of all of that, having this
It's one of
thread
the
of
great
like,
earth cakes,
oh,
zucchini bread.
that is a fantastic earth cake. But in the middle of that, having this sudden threat of like, oh, we might be getting in a little nuclear fight with North Korea. I didn't need that.
Yeah. No.
I didn't need that at that time.
No. Too many plot threads going on.
Yeah, can't
Too
follow it
many
all.
characters.
Too much. Too much, too soon.
We do have to take a quiz, but the
We
last
have
thing in
to.
my notes, because this is another thing that like you and I are not in a mass hysteria about, but I saw a quote from somebody in the news
Damn.
this past week,
Okay.
and I just like we gotta, as a podcast hosted by two silly little white boys, we got to talk about cancel culture.
Okay.
It's a requirement.
Gotta do it.
I obviously you and I have talked off mic about how we believe certain celebrities are hoping to get canceled,
Yeah.
and desperately trying for it
Yeah.
in a way that in my opinion means they probably won't ever get canceled because
Right.
they're so desperate.
Yeah. I think you missed the boat at a certain point.
But I saw a quote from Jennifer Aniston
Okay.
that was like, I'm so sick of cancel culture.
Oh.
Like, is there no chance for redemption? Blah, blah, blah.
Weird time to throw yourself on that fire, Jen.
Because it's weird. I don't seem to recall Jennifer Aniston being in the cancel culture crosshairs at all. And it feels, and I don't know everyone in her life, but it doesn't really seem like people that I know are her friends have been in the cancel culture crosshairs.
Joey, Chandler, Monica. We know her friends.
The rest. But yes.
Did I forget anyone?
Gunther.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. But like it, when I hear people say they're sick of cancel culture and are in no way really connected to it,
like what are you really doing here?
What are you hiding? What's going on here?
Can't we all just say this is done?
Yeah, and I mean, I've
heard nobody mention it for like years. Like, can we all stop with this?
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't get it.
We definitely need to stop looking in the back of celebrities' yards underneath the swing set.
Can't we just stop? Yeah, I just like, I just don't get it. I mean, I do, for those of you who are also sick of cancel culture, I'll say that, I'll say that I do think that cancel culture gets a little too black and white sometimes, and puts different offenses on the same level. But other than that, like, what? I think what we learned today is Jennifer Aniston's hiding something, and it's up to us to find out what it is.
It is. I tried to come up with a list of her movies so I can make a bunch of puns, but all I got was Office Space, and that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, is that the only Jennifer Aniston
the only one that came to mind? Wanderlust.
Sure, Wanderlust.
Her biggest movies.
The Bounty Hunter.
What
her and Gerard Butler in The Bounty Hunter.
What's the one up?
Murder Mystery and
Oh,
Murder
yes.
Mystery 2, and
Horrible
just go
Bosses.
with it. Horrible Bosses
What's the one I'm
2,
trying to think of though? That was her
The Iron
first, like
Giant,
early 2000s. I think she.
Storks.
No, it wasn't Storks. It was like her
um,
first dramatic showing.
Cake. She's in Earth Cake.
Earth Cake. I don't know what
No,
cake
she's
is,
in
but I'll
Cake.
take your
She's
word
in
for it.
is she in Picture Perfect?
I don't even know what that
Um
is.
or I think she's in The Good Girl,
That's the one
maybe?
I was trying to think of. Yes,
Hey.
and weirdly, when I looked up Jennifer Aniston, the first thing that came up was Picture Perfect. So look at
Wow.
you. Also, of course, Leprechaun.
Of course, Leprechaun. How could
Oh,
we
and
forget?
Along Came Polly.
Along Came Polly, of
And the Iron
course.
Giant and Bruce
I said The Iron
Almighty.
Giant.
Well, you
Got
didn't
that
say it
one.
loud enough. Okay, why was I trying to remember to come up with a pun?
To come up with puns, can you do it?
Someone. Okay, I got this. This is good. Someone's about to get Marley and me too.
Yes.
Worth it. It was worth
That
it.
was worth it. That was absolutely worth it. Okay,
all right.
we have a quiz, as we always do.
Oh, good.
Look, we're talking about, mass hysteria,
Of
and
course.
something that would certainly cause a mass hysteria is a zombie apocalypse. Now,
Yes.
the idea of, would you survive a zombie apocalypse is a little bit played out.
Yeah.
However, this is a quiz. Could you survive a zombie apocalypse? But this quiz comes from American Express Essentials. For some reason, American Express wants to know
Gotta
if we
know.
could survive a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. And that is, I guess the other side of there's the mass hysteria. There's the people that ignore it, and on the other side, there's the doomsday preppers. The people who are not
Yeah.
hysterical. They've been ready for the zombie apocalypse, and that with Max Brooks's books, the Zombie Survival Guide and World War Z, and man, I've got a lot of friends who love that to death and really live by that creed of it's not if, it's when.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's
sorry to
interesting
all
that you
those friends,
can.
but it's dumb.
It's interesting that you can say Max Brooks's books and not Earthquake Kit. But, uh,
Max Brooks's books. Max
let's take this
Brooks's
quiz.
books.
Let's find out if we are zombie savvy
All right.
or a zombie snack.
Zombie
Um,
snacky.
I've sent this quiz to you. I don't
You
know if we
have.
want to take it separately or if we want
Yeah, might as
to.
well. Or are we
Okay.
trying to survive together?
I
I
don't
mean, we haven't
know.
seen each other in a while. If the zombie apocalypse happens, it's going to be. I'm really going to have to go out of my way to get to Altadena.
Yeah.
I think we're separate.
Um,
And that's sad.
that is sad,
Oh,
but we'll have to find a rendezvous point.
real quick, 4 people watching on video. If they see me keep grabbing for a tube of cream and then reaching down and doing something, I'm covered in flea bites right now. Cortisone. I'm not doing
Yeah,
anything. Not doing
okay.
anything weird.
Yeah.
I am
But
itchy as
where are the
fuck.
flea bites?
Oh yeah. the
The
back,
first
back of
step
my leg. Ugh.
in surviving the undead is understanding them.
Obviously.
What do zombies want more than anything else? To drink human blood, to eat human flesh, or to become human again?
See, now reading it like this, I don't know that it does make sense for us to take it separately. Maybe we'll just agree on these.
Yeah, I'm between to eat human flesh and to become human again.
They want
I
to
don't
eat
think it
human
has to do with the
flesh.
blood.
They don't care about becoming human.
Okay.
They gotta
I
eat.
didn't know if that was like the big philosophical reason, but yeah,
They
I
got
think
no
it's to eat
philosophy.
human flesh.
They're brainless. And they want
See,
brains.
see if you know, but if you treat your enemies like this, Evan,
Mhm.
that's just gonna make them more angry and more desperate to come after you.
No. No. Well, hey, your call. If we could take this separately, if this is going to be a fight, I
We
guess.
can. I'm
I guess
gonna.
we'll take
I'm
it
gonna
separate.
answer to eat human
We're
flesh.
taking it separately now. Oh, see, it's
Okay.
correct. So it's
Good.
right or wrong answers.
Depending on the movie slash book slash viral strain in question, zombies either want to slurp brains or devour
Nice,
any human tissue they can get their rotting hands on.
nice
But
Amex.
one thing is clear, they're set on making you dinner. And not in a good way.
Now, for some basic zombie science. What is the most common route of infection which results in a person turning into a zombie? Getting bitten by a zombie? Being coughed, sneezed on by a zombie? Eaten or drinking after a zombie?
Eating
This.
or drinking after a zombie. What does that mean?
They take
But I'm
take a
gonna
sip of
say
their
getting
water. You take a sip
I
of your water.
guess. I mean, it's got to be getting bit,
Gotta be getting
right?
bit.
I've never seen a zombie sneeze
That'd be
in
fucking funny though.
it'd be
That'd be
funny.
good, like a zombie movie, but they just pass it by sneezing. They're just chasing after people. Chew. Any contact which allows zombie infected bodily fluids to enter your bloodstream could result in transmission, i.e., if you get zombie blood in your eyes or mouth. However, the most common route is from zombie saliva via a bite wound.
Location, location, location. What is perhaps the worst place you can be during a zombie
Hmm.
apocalypse? In the forest, in a town, or in a city?
Hmm. Forest, a town, or a city? I mean, a city would probably, in my mind, would be the worst because there's so many people. Forest, you wouldn't have as
Yeah.
many supplies. A town would be perfect. My vote is a city would be the worst place.
Okay. I mean, it's tough cuz it's like at what point are you there? What would be the worst place in the outbreak, or what would be the worst place several years into the
Right?
apocalypse?
It just says
Cuz it
during.
feels like yeah. I mean, it's I don't know if forest is I feel like forest would be maybe worse just cuz you have less like control over the environment, but maybe that's better.
Yeah.
Like it feels like it'd be easier for you to get surrounded in the forest.
Yeah, but there's no walls. You can just keep running.
Yeah.
Hey, I can go back. We could take this separately. You keep threatening to fight.
um
We're splitting up. I'm going to answer on my own.
to be clear, in
Yes.
a zombie apocalypse, I don't think I would last very long. So, I don't
I
know.
don't. Yeah, I don't. I do want to know what our listeners how they think we would do.
I think oh man. Are you gonna pick in a
I
city?
am
For the fun of it, I'll pick in the
for the
forest.
podcast. Mine says correct.
Yes, it does. Any densely populated area will quickly become a zombie buffet. You must get out as quickly as you can.
Bad
Which, like,
news.
fair, but like in the outbreak, I wouldn't want to be in the city. But I feel like once they've all wandered away,
Yeah, but how far are they wandering? You know.
true.
Bad news. You live in an apartment. Thanks,
Yep, that
Amex.
is bad news.
In the middle of a large city. It's true. And the unthinkable is happening. Zombies are taking over. Also true. Societal order is disintegrating, and you know you need to get out of the city and away from other people, both living and dead. What's the safest place you can think of heading to? A mountaintop? An island? I'm staying put. I'll just barricade myself in.
I'm going island, baby.
Yeah, although I've seen some zombie movies that are on islands. They that was the route they took in the Dawn of the Dead remake. And that post credits scene didn't go well for anybody. But I agree with you.
Yeah, but like, did anything go well for them in that movie? So
Sometimes it did.
we were correct, though.
That's
So.
true. Depending on their state of decay, zombies can stagger, hobble, and maybe even run, but they can't swim, depending on the movie. So any place surrounded by deep enough water will be safe from attack. By some miracle, your uncle has a cabin on a small lake island with about 80 kilometers, with about, I just added
With
that word,
about.
about 80 kilometers north of the city where you occasionally spend weekends away. It's perfect. Wasn't that also the plot of Land of the Dead? The zombies were smart and they learned how to swim and they chased him to an island.
I don't know. I've never seen that movie.
Yeah, neither have I.
You've got a safe destination in mind. That's great.
Why can't I stop hitting my microphone today?
But there's a problem.
Oh,
your significant other went to check on their parents 4 hours ago and hasn't come home yet.
Oh, man.
To make things worse, communications are down and there's no way to call them.
Ugh.
What do? Leave now? Time is of the essence. You don't want to get trapped here. Or wait another few hours. They're probably just stuck in the chaotic traffic.
This is a trap. This is a trap.
Yeah, I mean,
my significant other's in the house. The call's coming from inside the house. I gotta wait another few hours. I know it's the wrong answer, but I'm doing it.
Well, my significant other is at work, and I'm going to say leave now. Time is of the essence, but I'll leave a little note with where I'm going.
There you go. That's nice.
That is, of course, correct. Your first priority is survival. You're no good to anyone if you're dead, or worse, expelled. Do what you need to do. Besides, you and your partner spend several weekends a year at the lake cabin, so they will probably head there as soon as they can, too.
Well, you didn't tell me we had a lake cabin.
They did in the last answer that you read aloud.
Oh.
Remember? With about 80 kilometers.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I didn't realize this was all one story. I've been tricked. Even if you were never a scout, I wasn't. You know you should always be prepared. You decide to pack some essentials just in case. What kind of a bag do you reach for? Backpack for optimum mobility. A suitcase for optimum capacity. A gym bag for both mobility and capacity. I mean,
well, it feels like best of both worlds. You should go with a gym bag.
Wrong. Sorry, I answered too fast, but it is wrong. Gym bags are never as easy to carry as you think they'll be. A suitcase is only feasible if you can check your bags. A backpack. I made that part up. Let me write for you, Amex. A backpack will allow you to be mobile and move freely as the situation demands. Wow.
After hastily stuffing the bag with food, water, and a few first aid supplies, it's almost full. You can only fit one more item. What should it be? A knife, a jacket, or my smartphone?
That's a knife.
I think it's gotta be a knife. Even though I want to play games on my smartphone.
That's true.
But I could put that in my pocket and put the knife in my bag.
Yeah. My big.
That is correct, of course.
Duffel bag.
Though your smartphone is your lifeline in normal times, without electricity or communication networks, it's a waste of space. A sharp, durable knife, on the other hand, is one of the most essential tools you can have in your survival kit. Don't leave home without it. Also, heed your mum's eternal nagging for once. Bring a jacket. but save space by either putting it on or tying it around your waist.
Wow. That was great. As you leave your
Thanks.
apartment building, your fears are confirmed. Traffic is bumper to bumper with no sign of movement. There's no way you can take your car. Good thing you didn't pack a suitcase. How should you proceed? Head to the train station and try my luck catching the next one out. Grab my bicycle and pedal as fast as I can out of here. Attempt to take my car. If I can just get past the city traffic, I'll be golden.
I grab my bicycle and pedal as fast as I can out of here.
Yeah, right.
I've seen Train to Busan. I'm not getting on that
I've not
train.
seen Train to Busan. I'm not getting on that train. Crowded
We
areas
are
should be
correct.
avoided at all. I don't really want to read this. I don't know that people need them, but if they like them, crowded areas should be avoided at all cost. So the train station is out of the question. Trying to negotiate the traffic jam will cost you valuable time, and anyway, there's no telling what the roads will look like outside of the city. A bicycle will be faster than setting off on foot and will enable you to squeeze between cars and cut through narrow alleys. Earthquake kit, earthquake kit, earthquake kit.
Wow, good
Oh,
job. You just needed a warm
yeah,
up.
we're good.
All right, weaving around cars and zooming past zombies, your heart pounding in your throat. You manage to get about 20 kilometers before the city streets, sidewalks, and masses of cars disappear, and you find yourself on a country road. Take me home. The road is more or less clear for a while, but then you notice a major traffic jam up
Another.
ahead. You
What is this,
can't
the
see what's causing
405?
it. Without sidewalks and city streets, you'll have to go through the cars to keep cycling onward. Do you stay
Yes.
on the road but power pedal as fast as possible? Approach the traffic jam and find someone to ask about the cause of the clog. Ditch the bike and walk through the forest for cover. Who knows what's up ahead?
I don't want to ditch the bike. You can walk with a bike.
Right.
Can I keep the bike and walk? Uh, uh, I'm ditching the bike. I'm doing it.
It's probably a good idea, but I do see stay on the road and power pedal as fast as possible. But I guess, that would also wear you out.
True.
So maybe I should ditch the bike. Well, that was
Good
correct.
call.
Going on foot will slow you down considerably, but it's your safest bet in this
I
scenario.
knew that was yours. Now you're out of bike. Well, we could have just read the next question. Now you're out of bike. The sun is sinking fast, and there's no chance of making it to the lake house before dark. You're mentally debating the pros and cons of finding a shelter versus walking through the night when you realize a zombie is headed right for you. There's no way to avoid or outrun it. You're going to have to neutralize this walking corpse before it can kill or infect you. What do you do? What do you do? Shoot it in the head? Stab it in the head with a knife? Ram a sharpened stick through its eye? Do I have a gun all of a sudden?
I know,
have I
we
had a gun
never
this whole time?
packed a gun, but
I have a knife. If I
I
answered
know
shoot it in the
we
head and it's like,
definitely
you
have
don't
a
have a
knife.
gun, you dumbass.
Yeah.
I'm stabbing it in the head with a knife.
Yeah, it's like the thing that sucks is you have to get super close to it in order to do that.
Yeah. Oh.
But I guess I don't know. I'm gonna say shoot it in the head and let it tell me that I'm stupid.
We are both stupid.
Uh
You gotta
oh.
ram a sharpened stick through its eye. When it comes to arming yourself, choose wisely. Guns are efficient, but they require reloading and become useless if you run out of ammunition. Plus, the noise of firing a gun could draw more zombies or ill intentioned
Fair.
people your way. A knife will also do the trick. Thanks for telling me I'm wrong. But will necessitate you getting uncomfortably close to this flesh hungry monster.
That's what I
You don't know
said.
how big my knife is. Plus, you don't want to risk losing it, given that it's one of the most useful survival tools you have. Not if you don't fucking use it to kill zombies. A long, sturdy, sharpened stick, on the other hand, is an effective, silent readily available weapon against the undead. Okay, you know what? What are these vampires all of a sudden?
Whew, that was close. You'll be more vigilant from now on.
Are you the one
Wait,
replacing
oh,
Charles
what's
Martinet?
that? Do you hear someone calling for help? Yes, you do. It's a woman. She seems to have gotten her legs stuck trying to squeeze through an opening in a fence, and a zombie is making a beeline for her. What do you do? Nothing. It's every woman for themselves out here.
MX, you got us again.
Kill the zombie and save her. It's the right thing to do. Can I not just like help her through the fence and then
Right.
the zombie gets stuck on the other side of the fence? Is that not is
Here's
that
my
not an
thing.
option?
I feel like it's going to tell me I'm wrong, but I'm going to kill the zombie and save her because A, it's the right thing to do, but B, there's safety in numbers.
Absolutely. That's what my instinct is as well. Oh, we were correct. Armed with your stick.
Fucking stick.
Which so apparently we can lose the knife, but we somehow are able to just keep the stick with
forever.
us. Sticking around. Armed with your stick, you can easily fight off the attacking corpse and save the woman's life.
Thank God. You're instantly rewarded for doing the right thing. The woman introduces herself as Lisa, and to thank you for saving her, she invites you to take shelter at her home for the night. Hello. It's just a short walk away. Do you accept? I'm not exactly flush with options right now, so yes. Sleep in a stranger's house? No thanks. I'm going home. Yeah, I'm gonna sleep in the house.
I'm not exactly flush with options right now, so yes.
Figuring that your odds are better indoors than out, even if it means snoozing at a stranger's place, you should accept. Besides, you just saved this woman's life, so hopefully she's simply returning the favor. When you reach Lisa's house, you breathe a sigh of relief. It's well off the beaten track, and she lives alone, except for her golden retriever, Sam, so there's no one else to worry about.
The evening goes well. Lisa cooks a delicious dinner, and you head off to bed to get as much sleep as you can. In the morning, she packs a few sandwiches for you to take on the road, but as you're saying goodbye, Sam bolts out of the front
I
door,
don't like this.
instinctively seeing an approaching zombie as a threat and rushing towards it.
Doug.
Without thinking, Lisa takes off after him.
Fuck.
You realize she's running towards a zombie unarmed. You have your zombie killing stick in your hand. How do you react? Run after her to kill the zombie before it gets her, or run back into the house and hide?
I mean, if she survives and I ran back into the house and hid, I'm out. I'm kicked out, you know.
That's true. Here's this. I wouldn't do either of
No,
these things, to
no.
be honest. I'd go off on my own because clearly she wasn't going to come with me anyway if she was
Yeah.
packing sandwiches and sending me on my way. Unless she's packing the sandwiches for you, as in like both of you to go on the road,
Yeah.
but like
doesn't specify.
it sounds
you're
like
saying
she's just
goodbye.
like, see ya.
That's true. Fuck her. I'm running back to the house and hiding. Wrong. Sorry. I keep answering before you pick your selection.
Well, then I guess I'm gonna run
Look
after her to
who's
kill the
so
zombie before it
fucking
gets her.
brave
Oh,
with their sharp
correct!
stick all of a sudden.
Since it's close to the house, you'll likely have to fight this zombie sooner or later. Might as well try to save Lisa and Sam. Lisa is able to shove Sam away just in time, and you manage to kill the zombie, but not before it attacks Lisa.
You and Lisa realize with horror that she's been bitten on the shoulder. What do you do now? Rush her inside to stop the blood loss and bandage the wound? Leave and fast. Who knows how quickly she will turn into a flesh-eating beast. Amex, you are afraid to mention my zombie-killing stick, which I would enact swiftly.
Yep. Right through the eye, Lisa.
Leaving and fast.
Yeah, leaving fast. Who knows how long she'll take to turn into the beast.
Correct. In an apocalypse, sometimes the right choice is the hardest one. There's nothing you can do for Lisa. You can only save yourself before she goes full zombie. She knows it too. She gives you an understanding nod, says she'll be okay, and tells you that her late husband's dirt bike is in the shed. He sounds cool.
Hell yeah.
That you should take it. You do. Heading off down the gravel driveway has tears well in your eyes. I didn't even know this person.
As it turns out, a dirt bike is the ideal means of travel.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
about to follow, or you're able to follow the road, cautiously off-roading. a great pairing of words right there. Cautiously off-roading when you need to avoid a clump of stranded cars. You make solid progress for a couple hours. The dirt bike runs out of gas just a few kilometers before the lake, so you abandon it to finish the journey on foot. As you make your way through the forest bordering the lake, something rustles in the bush up ahead. You stop, bracing yourself for a zombie, but instead, a feral looking dog emerges. It must also be terrified and fleeing the undead. You almost breathe a sigh of relief, but then the dog begins to growl, the hair on its back standing on end. Uh oh, what should you do? Turn tail and run away. Scream at the dog and make eye contact to show it I'm the boss. Stand tall, stay calm, and back away slowly while talking to it in soothing tones.
That one for me. I'm standing tall. I'm staying calm.
Stand tall, stay
And I'm
calm,
backing
back
away
away
slowly while
slowly.
talking to it in soothing tones, like this.
Correct. Running
Nice
away from a hostile
doggy.
dog.
Be a good boy.
Or any wild animal can trigger its chase instinct and indicate that you are prey. But you also don't want to provoke the animal with aggression. It's best to de escalate the situation and show the animal that you are neither threat nor prey.
Okay, I'm scared. This is the last question we could see. And then it just says share, tweet, or more. So we might have to. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
After a few tense moments, the dog is satisfied that you're not a danger and it backs away and leaves. Come back. You continue on your way and reach. Wait, let me do a reread of that. You continue on your way and reach the lake shore and the little dock where your family keeps a rowboat for going back and forth to the cabin. You hop in and paddle to the island, safe at last from zombies and wild animals like dogs. Reaching the cabin, however, you realize a light is on inside. Someone is here. What do? Moor the boat at the dock, go pound on the door, and demand to know who's there. Row around the shore, behind the house. Approach the house quietly and peer in the window, see who's in there, in that house. Say, hey,
Row around to the shore behind the house, approach quietly, and peer in to see who's there.
hey, who's in there?
That is
That is
correct.
correct. Better safe than sorry. You will sneak up to the house and peer into the living room window. There is someone here. It's your partner. You run around the front of the house and fling the door open. You and your partner share a tearful embrace. You both survived. Now begins the hard part, staying alive to fight and rebuild.
Okay, we got our results. I am a skilled survivor. Any ragtag group of zombie apocalypse survivors would be proud to call you their leader. You've got the brains to persevere and for zombies to eat. And you aim to keep them right where they are. Maybe even save a few people along the way.
I got exactly the same, but because of my insistence on waiting for my girlfriend, I only got 12 of 16 right. But I'm still a skilled survivor. And as a skilled survivor, of course, we both got a gif of someone who didn't make it in The Walking Dead. Spoilers. We did it.
We did it. We survived the zombie apocalypse. Yeah. But we didn't do too good that
the zombies
people
would be
are
like, okay, this
let's take this guy out. We did exactly as we love to do, Evan, which is do a good job, but fly enough under the radar that it's respectable but not showboaty.
We don't like to be noticed.
Except when it comes to this podcast. Boom. We want this podcast to be noticed. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pocket Casts, HowDoWeHuman.com. Anywhere that you get your podcasts, you can find How Do We Human. You can rate, review, subscribe, comment, all those
We
wonderful
love
things.
that.
We love that. Let us know if you think you would survive a zombie apocalypse. And if you'd want the two of us as the leaders of your ragtag
Yeah,
team.
we would have killed Lisa. And we would have used our knife for anything.
That's
Don't
right.
use the knife. We might need it later.
We might need the knife to kill a zombie. Use that sharpened stick instead. We don't want to get too close to the zombie with our knife. Let's get close to them with our sharpened stick. Let us know if you wonder or have the answer rather to why American Express has that quiz in the first place. You can also check us out on our social media and notice us there, like on Instagram at How Do We Human.
Yeah, we got that handle.
You can check us out on Facebook at How Do We Human.
I don't think you're ready for that handle.
YouTube at How Do We Human.
Get to the handle.
Get to the handle. Or send us an email to howdowehumanpod@gmail.com.
The best part of that handle is that it's an email.
Evan, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Just generally. I gotta look it up because I forget exactly what it was I wrote down. Tailbone time.
Of course.
It speaks for itself.
How could you forget?
It speaks for itself. When we were driving back, we stopped by a truck stop and got a little cushion. You know, then you sit on it while you're driving.
For the pushing.
For the, pushing through. I'm sitting on it right now. It looks like a small toilet.
Whoa, look at that huge stain. Oh, no, that's the design.
Look at that huge stain. Anyways, it's got that little hole in the middle.
Yeah.
Give me a little...
But it's got much back.
Little relief. A hole in the middle, but it's got much back. A little room for my tailbone to rest, not be fully compressed. And now I'm sitting on it here, and look at me. I'm better than ever. 14, anyone? I think it's doing wonders for me, and I think we all need to take a little tailbone time. So I'm proposing, maybe it's on Tuesdays. Bars can host these events, tacos and tailbone time.
Yeah, and then they can, because it's a bar, they can play a parody of Closing Time.
Tailbone time.
Tailbone time.
Open up your
cushion. You do have to sit here.
Both
give your booty a rest.
Both good directions. Different parts of the song, so
tailbone
it all works
time.
I know where my tailbone gets some time. Chris, that's just a general idea. If anyone wants to run with it, I'm not trying to monetize it. Chris, what do you got going on?
Are you familiar with the YouTube creator Mr. Beast?
By name.
I think I've maybe watched one of his videos before, but it seems like
this past week
he, through big theatrical productions, gives away a lot of money and therefore gets the reputation of being a good dude.
Yeah, even though he's a beast.
Except for some controversies, I think, on his Wikipedia page, but I didn't really research it. But I was like, I want to be a good person who gives away a lot of money, but I don't have a lot of money.
True.
So my thought is I will give away small amounts of money. And instead of being a Mr. Beast, I'll be Mr. Critter.
Great. Love that.
Because it's a smaller animal.
Yeah. Smaller animals.
Amounts of money. Do you get it?
The smaller animals, what do they just carry a coin purse with them? You can't have a wallet on a squirrel. Picture that.
Picture it.
that, American Express. um, do you think the controversies on Mr. Beast's page is like imprisoning a woman to make her love him and having a little rose in a glass thing and talking to his furniture?
Yeah, I definitely think one of the controversies on his Wikipedia page is talking to furniture.
You don't think that would be a controversy? Look what it did to Pee-wee. He's dead. That's not a coincidence. The CIA didn't want him talking to furniture, and they don't want Mr. Beast doing it either. B. I'm trying something new. Check this out. I'm not going to promise we're going to be able to do this every episode because that's too much forethought. We don't have time for forethought, but I want to commit to this. We got a request to do an episode from a listener and good buddy of mine, Dustin Chadwick. He wants us to do an episode about milk. I find that very funny.
We will.
Let's commit to it and say next week we're going to do an episode about milk. Send us emails. Send us messages. Tell us, ask us questions. Do you have any thoughts about milk? Is milk awkward to you? Milk mustaches, snorting milk, spitting milk out your nose. Snorting milk. Have you ever snorted milk? Let us know. HowDoWeHumanPod@gmail.com, and we'll read your shit on the episode next week. How do you like them apples, bitch?
Tailbone time.
Okay.
It's time to end these podcasts.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
I know.